Heyoka Empath is walking medicine. It is the most powerful empath that is walking this earth. A Heyoka Empath is the sacred joker, so to say. And with joker, I don't mean that in a light way of pranking jokes. The way the Heyoka brings humor is in a very profound, deep, striking way. Heyoka Empath, when a Heyoka Empath is in presence of people, it doesn't emanate, it strikes. It is Heyoka Empaths have the ability they have a razor sharp intuition, and they can feel through every facade, and they mirror what someone else is looking away from, what it is avoiding, what is standing in the way between them and truth. They don't even do it on purpose. It's just the way their wiring is built. That's why in Heyoka Empath needs a lot of quietude, because the Heyoka is not only picking up on the frequencies of people, but it is picking up frequencies of the earth, of the collective, of the universe. It is picking up the whole Lila, the whole play of Lila. So this can be so overwhelming that a lot of Heyoka empaths wrestle with addiction. They want to numb out because it's too heavy for them, too intense. And it's also very hard to be in a relationship with someone, because the Heyoka empath carries with them so much truth and light that for most people it becomes too real. It becomes too serious. It becomes too heavy on themselves. Not that the Heyoka empath is heavy. It becomes heavy because their energy field makes the other person very aware of what they are suppressing, of what they are not willing to see or not willing to embody. So for a Heyoka empath to be in a relationship, it takes a very awake and aware person, or otherwise it becomes heavy. It becomes very heavy on the other person. I've seen it in relationships, in my experience. In the first glance, people think you're cute, but that is not what my life is about at all. It is a very deep depth and a very high highs, not in a in a highway, but we embody everything. And for another person to really understand this is almost impossible. And as long as you are in denial of who you are, you will struggle unnecessarily. You need to start understanding the responsibility that you have being an Heyoka empath. And it is a bit of a shame that a lot of people use this term, because it's being overused. And it's such a beautiful soul path. It is a lonely one. It goes along with a lot of trials and tribulations and a lot of pain, because there are no boundaries for an Heyoka empath. The Heyoka is so sensitive that the only way is through. So it needs to integrate everything, the whole duality. It needs to integrate. Um, this is not the case for most humans because they have not that kind of sensitivity and awareness inside of them. So because of the difficult path that you have been walking, and especially powerful is an awakened Heyoka empath, because they have integrated and transmuted everything that needed to be purified. And so you become a walking medicine for people without you even trying. The moment you come in contact with people, you seem to attract certain types of people that need a certain pushes. You are like a catalyst. And Heyoka is not at all about love and light and rainbows and unicorns. Unicorns, no, it is. It's really. It can be. Heyokas are not really being praised by a lot of people because it's just raw truth, and it's striking truth. And the average time that we are in a person's life is not very long, because um, most souls need a few strikes to open up, and then you have done your job. You are not there to be in a long term. Averagely, most Heyoka empaths are not there in people's life to be in a long term relationship, whether it's a friendship or acquaintances or a romantic relationship. This is also something that you need to be able to come to terms with. It's a responsibility that you need to carry. You cannot. You have to be very. How do you say that? Precise in what people you really let come in closer in your life, because you're so sensitive, and you are already getting drained of all the information that goes in the vertical way, but also the horizontal way of the earth and human collective that you feel constantly. So letting people in your closest circle, you need to be very picky in who you let close to you, because you can get drained very fast if those are people who have a lot of emptiness and who come to plug in on you. So Heyokas live a completely different life. Often they cannot really hold a job for very long, because especially when you work for a boss and a sort of structure, because Heyokas are typically here to break down structures. So in work environments and also just with colleagues, the same things will happen as in the outside world. You meet colleagues, and at first glance they think you're okay, you're cute or whatever, and then after a while they start sensing you're too intense, you're too obsessive, you're too deep, you are too whatever. And people might even become very resistant to you. And especially in the beginning of when you were not aware of being an Heyoka, it can hurt you in your pain body a lot, because you don't seem to understand what's happening. You just you are out there and you just want just like what every human needs: intimacy, connection, resonance. And you go there with all of your energy and your light, and after a while people are like, get away with your lights, just, or don't be so honest. Heyokas can make remarks that are for social norms really upsetting, outrageous, asocial, or whatever term people cling to it. But Heyoka frankly, doesn't matter what people find of the way they express themselves, because they are just simply the way they are. It is their innate nature just to catalyze, and it's just the way they are. It's just like a tree that needs water. It doesn't think about is this bad for others or whatever. No, it's the same with a Heyoka empath. It's just an innate nature to mirror what is not working, or what is not flowing anymore, or what is being suppressed, or what is being looked away from. So a lot of people are not able to receive nor perceive you. They are not able to receive the immenseness of your consciousness, of your beingness, but they are also not even able to perceive your energy. I have had lots of times, even with people who are sensitive to energies, that said to me, your energy is so, it's, I barely feel it. I barely feel your presence. So maybe you experience that the more you start purging and transmuting, and the more you awaken, the more invisible you become for the collective. And you naturally know what a person needs to heal. Sometimes that can be very um, um, how do you say that? As a very high esoteric knowledge, but sometimes it's also just being an egoic jerk, just making remarks that um, that give such a deep penetration of precision, of surgical precision, that people cannot move away from. The yoga doesn't matter if it's being perceived as being spiritual or being the big ego, because it's all we, in the end we are all. And you see that in on the internet a lot, people who have they I want to say play a certain kind of energy. They are mostly in their high suiting way of how do you say that? Giving people messages. Heyoka is not at all like that. Sometimes it can be very much speaking from divinity, and sometimes it will speak from story, from rawness, whatever is needed, whatever medicine is needed for a person to heal. And speaking from the horizontal plane, meaning the 3D world, or speaking from for the vertical plane, it differs for different kinds of people. Sometimes another different kind of approach is needed to penetrate someone's buffers. And that your intuition is very attuned to that. But learning to be okay with yourself, learning to navigate all the information that is this coming into you 24/7 is a great challenge for an Heyoka empath. As always, I am really curious about what your experience in this is, if you can recognize yourself in being in Heyoka, and love to hear from you. Much love.